what's up? Really quick, I want to preface this video with a little disclaimer. I actually don't know that much about the Enneagram. I know it seems like I probably do if I'm making a video about the Enneagram, but honestly, I really don't know a lot about it. I know some, and I know some from like secondhand knowledge of my friends telling me things, but honestly, I haven't done a lot of research. So if you're here and you're like serious about the Enneagram, I would recommend go read a book on it, go listen to some podcasts. There's some great stuff out there about it. Be cautious listening to me because it's probably not 100% accurate. It's just me kind of winging it and talking about myself because I love myself. Because I am a type 5 on the Enneagram. I'm technically a 5-wing 4, so we're getting super specific. I really just wanted to make a video ranting about that, what it's like, what you can expect from a 5, because I feel like I don't know a lot of 5s, and you probably know one or two of them, and you're like, I don't know how to handle you. And us, the 5s, are like, yeah, you don't. Let me help you. If you have no idea what the Enneagram is, it's kind of like a personality test, but it separates everybody into these 9 types. And so you get 9 numbers. You can be one of the numbers, obviously. And it's based on your basic fear and your basic desire. So for instance, talking about the 5, the 5's basic fear is being useless, helpless, or incapable. And our basic desire is to be capable and competent. And so I'm not going to go through any of the other ones because, like, I know them, but I really don't know them well enough to, like, tell you about them. So if you're interested, like I said, you can go find, there's a lot of really cool podcasts. I know The Road Back to You is, like, a super popular Enneagram book. There's also songs that Sleeping at Last has written. So if you're new to the Enneagram thing and you want to dive down a rabbit hole, just look for the Enneagram. If you want to know how I figured out my type, I have taken the test a couple of times. There's this one that's free online that I took that did the most to help me. But what they recommend is you read through, they have paragraphs everywhere that you can read about each of the different types. And so you kind of read through each paragraph for every single type and you kind of figure out which one relates most to you. So if you're stuck between 2 types, if you don't know, you can kind of dig more into that. But a lot of it is just like knowing yourself and deciding what you think best reflects you. I am very self-aware, so like I know myself really well when I take personality tests. I've had a lot of friends who have trouble with it and who can't really figure out or peg down what they are for a little while. But like basically from the first time I took the test, I was like, yep, that's me. I'm a 5. I am very 5-ish. So it's a trip. It's a time. I would say if you haven't figured out your type yet, you should go figure it out right now because it's just like really fun. But if you want to know more about being a 5, I'm here today to talk to you about it. Really quick, talking about wings. I actually can't explain this well either. I'm sorry, you should research it. But I am a 5-wing 4, which means even though I'm mainly a 5, I kind of have some 4 tendencies, and I lean more towards the 4 side of things than I do a 6. So 4s are like really artsy. They're really into their feelings and stuff. 6s are more about comfort and like they're a little bit more panicky and anxiety ridden than like most of the other types. Did that help you? Probably not. It's okay. So let's talk about being a 5 right off the bat. So being a 5 is all about being competent and being seen as capable, and like I think most of the 5s are just like very independent people, and the Enneagram is super cool, I think, because not only does it help you understand yourself better, and it kind of teaches you how to take care of yourself and to notice warning signs of like when things are not right, but it also is really helpful because it can show you how the rest of the world reacts and acts and whatever and perceives you and how you perceive them and like all this stuff. It's really helpful for relationships, whether that's like friendships, romantic, familial, whatever. And it's just been like very fascinating for me to see the world through the Enneagram lens. And I know a lot of people love it. A lot of people also hate it, but a lot of people recently have gotten super into it, especially in the booktube community. It's really cool. And it's like probably my favorite personality test. Like when I meet new people, I always want to know their Enneagram because it helps me place them in my world of being a 5, you know? 5s are all about competence. Like I didn't realize this until after I learned more about my type of the Enneagram, but like my whole life is built around the idea of being seen as competent and not looking stupid. It's weird because I didn't realize it, but once I saw it, woof, it's like literally my whole life. Let me give you some examples. Number 1, so say I show up to a meeting or like a new place or an appointment or literally anything. I'm meeting people somewhere. 9 times out of 10, if I get there, I will get there about 5 or 10 minutes early. I will sit in my car and wait until I see another person enter where we're going, especially if it's a place that I haven't been before. If it's a place that I've been, sometimes I'm more willing to like go in first and wait for them, but a lot of times I will wait until I see their car pull up, I see them get out of their car and walk in, and then text me and say, I'm here, and then I'm like, cool, I'm not gonna look stupid waiting around or incompetent about not being able to find the place or find the person. Now I can safely go into said place and I can talk to them and it'll be great. I have a fear of looking stupid, so a lot of times, this is for like most fives, but I don't talk. Like, this is kind of an INFJ thing too, if you take the Myers-Briggs seriously. But like, fives are really well known for just like being in their head. Like, I have a whole universe up in here, and I kind of keep to that universe at all times. And like, if I feel overwhelmed, if I feel anything, I usually kind of close in on myself. But talking about being incompetent and talking, like, I usually don't voice my opinion that often unless I'm like with people that I trust or it's a topic that I really love or like whatever. But like, I don't speak out very openly at all. And that's not because I like don't like people or because I'm cold or closed off. I mean, I am cold and closed off, but not like in a mean way of me like, I'm too good for you, I don't want to talk right now. It's like, I don't want to look stupid by the words that I'm saying, so I'll just not say anything and it'll be better that way. Like, I have that experience a lot, actually, every day of my life, all the time. This has kind of bled into some of my relationships because here's a fun thing. I don't really know what the structure of this video is. We're just talking, so like, if I rant too long, just turn me off. There's this thing that I do that I think a lot of people I'm friends with don't realize. I know so many people who like to talk, and I also like to talk, obviously. But I have some people who just like, they just talk about everything, you know, small talk, talking about work, talking about their dating life, talking about like whatever, just to fill the silence, just because they want, like, they just want to talk about that. And that's great. And I have that too, like, talk away, you do your thing. However, a lot of times I am so closed off in my own world and like my own thoughts that I zone out and I'm like, ugh, I really don't want to hear this. Like, I'm sorry, I don't care about your job, even though it's like the only thing you talk about. I'm sorry, I don't care. And so what happens is I tune that out and I think about what I would say if I were to bring something up when the silence comes back, you know? And I'm like, well, I could talk about like this thing that I'm really interested in, but like, I wasn't interested in this other person's job or like their interests. So like, obviously they're not gonna be interested in my thing. So like, I'm not even gonna bring my thing up unless they ask about it because I don't want to burden them. I don't want to be seen as incompetent or stupid or whatever. So I'll just like bottle it up. And then if they ask the right question, then I'll talk about it. And this happens a lot to me. And for some reason in my brain, I'm like, oh, they're going to ask about it. They're going to ask about this thing that I've been thinking about for like a whole week. Like, they're going to ask about the book that I'm reading. I know they are. They can see it in my eyes. They're going to do it. And it's like, first of all, they probably didn't even know I was reading a book because I'm so private as a person. But two, why would they know to bring up the question that I want them to ask when I don't even ask it myself or I don't voice my opinion or whatever? And so like, it's a really hard cycle because half of me is like, this is all their fault. They haven't asked me any questions. They don't even care about me. But then on the flip side of that, it's like, well, you're not even offering anything up. You're not listening to them very well. You're not really talking. You haven't told them anything. Like, why would they ask the question that you want them to ask if they don't know that you want them to ask the question? I get really frustrated with other people, but I also get really frustrated with myself because I can't just like freely offer myself up in conversation. And it's weird because like, I am very vocal online. You know me. I share literally everything all the time on Twitter, like on Instagram, like whatever. I don't care. I will tell you anything if you ask the question. It's just that people don't ask me the questions, and so I automatically assume like, oh, they don't care. They don't want to hear about that, so I'm just not going to bring it up ever or talk about anything. I just close off and retreat. And I think that's mostly what fives are known for. Like, there's a song that Sleeping At Last did about being a five, and it's all about like having your own like little universe and like wanting to see the world and know more about it and like keeping it all inside of you. And like, growing up, I had the feeling, and I still have it, but when I was collecting like music and books and stuffed animals and whatever, I always was in my own little world, and it was like my empire, you know, like my music library is my empire. I have like 8,000 songs and it's mine, and like I have it in my hands and like it's my thing. And so I spend like literally so much time in myself and in my world and in the things that I'm doing. And a lot of people who are not fives kind of see that as like being cold and closed off and like selfish. And I think it's selfish as well, but like I never retreat because I like hate people per se, or that I don't like somebody, or I want to like be mean to anybody. It's literally like, it's a defense mechanism. It's a comfort thing. It's like how I enjoy spending my time. Like my mom is a 2, and she's always just been so surprised by me and how much time I spend by myself. I think everybody is kind of surprised by how much time I can spend alone. Like I probably could spend a month by myself and I would still come out of that month being like, oh, I didn't get enough time alone. I need more time alone, which a lot of people can't understand. And part of that is being an introvert, but like being a 5, I need my alone time. I need it. I need it so much. And so a lot of times what happens is people don't get that, and I don't have the ability to like step out of a situation and be alone. And so I create that alone space by pushing people away and by closing myself off and retreating into myself. And so a lot of times I'll have days or moods or whatever when I'm in the middle of a conversation with somebody and they started this conversation. Like I am sitting doing my thing. I don't want to talk to anybody. I look like I don't want to talk to anybody, and they still come and talk to me. And so my way of dealing with it, instead of being like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of something, can you maybe talk about this later? Instead, I just like nod along and I stop talking to them, and I like get this mean face on my yep. And like eventually they get the idea and they leave me alone. But that's like my whole life. And like it happens a lot when I'm in the middle of a project, when I'm stressed or overwhelmed. Like on this trip, I went to Europe for 2 weeks and I was with my family every second of every day, basically. And I knew going into it, I was going to get into one of my moods, and I was like, I'm going to rise above it. Like, it's not going to be a big deal. I will make sure that I'm in a good mood the whole time. And literally the first day, the second day, the third day, we were in London, and I was just not having it. Like, my feet hurt. I was really tired from jet lag. We were doing so much walking. I really just wanted to die. And on top of all of that, like, everybody around me just seemed like way too happy. And so I was like, you know what? That's great. I don't want this. I am going to shut down. I'm overwhelmed. I want to be alone. Like, I want to do my own thing. I don't want to be stuck with you. And so I just like shut down, and I got really mean. But that's what I do when I get really stressed. I just close in on myself, and I want to be alone, and I want to deal with it my way, and I don't want anybody to talk to me. The other day I was hanging out with my friend, and I was getting really tired, but also like I just wanted to be alone. And so as an excuse, I was like, man, I just like really wish I could take a nap. Like, I'm ready for nap time. Like, let's go. And my friend kind of looked at me and she's like, yeah, okay. And I was like, except that like I actually don't want to take a nap because like I hate naps, but you know, like I really want nap time. And she was like, so basically what you're saying is you just want to be alone. And I was like, yes, that's it. That's what I want. But it's like, that's not something that you can say to non-5s. For some reason, I feel like they just like don't understand. Like, you can't just be in the middle of a conversation and be like, listen, like you're great, but like I need to be alone right now. Like, I gotta go. Bye. Like, that's not a valid excuse for anybody to do anything. And so it's like, it's really hard. And it sounds lame to be like, oh my God, it's so hard to be a 5. Like, I don't get enough time by myself. But like, genuinely, I don't. And I could spend weeks alone doing just like my own thing, reading books, being on Twitter, like whatever. I'll give you an example of how much alone time I need. So for my job, I do a lot of driving, and it means I spend a lot of time alone, which is awesome. That's great. But sometimes I do so much driving that it's like, 4 hours of driving, and I'm spending all that time by myself. I'm singing, I'm listening to music, I'm doing whatever, audiobooks, go through 4 hours of driving, get home. What is the first thing I do when I get home? Oh God, I spent so much time alone. I gotta spend some more time alone. Like, literally, I've said this, I've thought this, I've had this happen before. I get home and I automatically go in my room, close the door, and I have to spend more time alone because I spent too much time alone, so I gotta spend more time alone. However, it's really interesting because I am a 4-wing and not a 6-wing, and so 5-wing 4s are like, we retreat into our own little world, but then we kind of like create our own little world in that. And so it's like, it's interesting because a lot of times 5s can be seen as really unemotional because we hold everything inside and we only really show emotions when we're by ourselves. And so adding into that, like being a 4 and being like super artsy and creative and also having feelings but like not wanting feelings, it's like a whole thing. Like, fours are such interesting people because they're so creative. So, if you don't know what a four is, I'm going to tell you that because I feel like that's important to know too. So, for a four, the basic fear is that they have no identity or personal significance, and the basic desire is to find themselves and their significance, basically to create an identity. And so combining that with being a five, like, I have a very strong sense of identity and self and who I am, but like also like I create so many things and I want to keep the whole world to myself. And so it's like a combination of all of those things makes my life all about me. And I've struggled a lot recently and in the past couple of years with the idea of like being really selfish. And like I wrote part of my poetry book about this idea. Like I hate how selfish I am and how selfish I seem, but like I can't stop. And it's not like I don't love other people, and it's not that I'm one of those people who's like, I am the most important person in the world. Like, you have to listen to me, like, whatever. Like, that's not it. It's just I prioritize myself so highly that a lot of people who aren't fives or fours, like, they don't understand it. Like, if I had to choose between, like, a week by myself or a week with, like, my best friend or a week with, like, family or a week with whatever, like, I would literally die if I didn't pick myself. Like, I want to spend more time with me. And like, as much as I hate myself for various reasons, like low self-esteem or whatever, like I love myself so much. Like, I have curated and crafted my life and my person and my world the way that I want to because I know myself so well. I love the world so much. Like, fives are really well known for being like investigators, I think, and like we want to learn more and we want to understand the world and we want to know everything about a situation going into it before making any decisions and like doing anything. And that's kind of where the incompetence thing kind of fits in, because a lot of times reasons why I'm either being cautious about something, I'm not talking about anything, I'm retreating, whatever, I'm afraid, it's because I don't want to like be out of place and I don't want to ruin something or like be seen as stupid or stand out in any way that's seen as bad. And so instead of doing anything, I just kind of close off and try and become invisible. And I try and learn about the situation and learn about the world before making anything happen. So like if I go to a new place, part of the reason why I wait in the car to see anybody go in is because I want to know, like, oh, I haven't been here before. That's the door. That's what they did to get in. Like, I can get in the same way and do the same thing. And I know for a lot of people, it's like, it's a door. You walk through the door. But, like, if I haven't been there before, like, there's so much anxiety because I don't want to, like, walk in wrong. I don't know. I don't want to seem stupid walking into this new place that I've never been before. And that's part of why I'm really bad about asking questions or, like, asking for help about things, is because, like, I don't want people to see me being stupid. Like, that's the root of the issue here. And so part of my defense mechanism is being invisible. And it's really funny that I have a YouTube channel and, like, I have almost 20,000 people following me. Because literally, like, my dream in life is to be invisible. And, like, I know that sounds sad, and you're like, oh my God, are you okay? Like, can I help you? Can you not be lonely? Like, what's going on? But, like, genuinely, I go through extreme measures to not be seen or noticed by anybody. Here's an example. So, in my house, my room is on, like, the far side, and then next to it is the kitchen/living space, and then down the hall is the bathroom. And a lot of times what happens is people are in the living space, living their life, being people, and I'm in my room, you know, reading, working on a video, whatever, and I'm so in the zone on my project, or I so don't want to, like, talk to anybody because I don't want to. I want to be by myself. That, like, a lot of times what happens is, instead of going to the bathroom or getting food or, like, doing anything out there, walking out for a minute to grab something and then coming back in, I just seclude myself in my room until about 11 p.m. when I know everybody's gone to bed, and then I go out and go to the bathroom because, like, I don't want to talk to people. I want to be by myself, and I know if I go out there and talk to people, or if I don't talk to people, they will talk to me and say something, and then I'll be stuck out there for, 5 to 10 minutes, and I just don't want that. Because I'd rather be invisible, because then people don't talk to you, and people don't ruin whatever kind of zone you're in, and they don't make you step away from your work. They don't, like, this is how deep it goes. Like, it's sad when you think about it, but, like, this is the life that I live. I am invisible at all times. Like, I will walk a different direction if I don't want to be seen, and I know there's a person, like, at school or, like, whatever that is going to be in that area. Like, I will specifically walk around them. I will drive around them. It's bad. Like, I'm a professional invisible person. I'm very good at it. I will be quiet. I will ignore things. A lot of times I will choose not to wear my glasses out sometimes because if I don't wear my glasses and I can't see anybody, then people won't come up to me and then I won't have to talk to them or worry about them. I did that a lot when I was in college. That's the thing. Like, I would much rather be invisible, because if people can't see me, then they can't see me doing stupid things and they can't judge me because I'm being incompetent, and then like I can do anything. Like, that's part of the reason why it's taken me so long to like learn how to cook or go to the gym or whatever, because like I haven't done it. If I can do those things with another person the first time, automatically my confidence is way higher and I'll be way better at doing the thing. But like, I avoided going to Goodwill for like 6 months probably because I didn't know where it was and I didn't know how to do it. Like, I didn't know how to drop off clothes. That's all you do. I would have shown up and seen people and they would have been like, drop off the clothes. And I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. But like, I put it off for 6 months because I didn't want to be seen as stupid, and I made my friend go with me. In conclusion, I guess, I've just been ranting for like 20 minutes, but basically, being a 5 is the best thing and the worst thing. It's the best because I love myself and I love the world and the world that I've created and the empire that is my brain and like everything that's going on with me. Like, I love this. I love it. I love it so much. But on the flip side, like, a lot of people have a hard time, I think, like, interacting with 5s, communicating with 5s. 5s are really bad at communicating in general, but it can be really frustrating, especially if you're like a 2 or a 7, to hang out with a 5, because 2s really need love. Like, they need other people to show them affection, to talk to them, to be with them, to like just love them. And as a 5, like, I need love, but if you don't love me, that's fine. Like, I don't need you to love me. I love myself. I'm cool. I need to be by myself anyway, whatever. And so I don't think about a lot of things that like 2s or 7s or whatever people want or need, and it's not at the forefront of my mind to be thinking about, oh, this other person like hasn't talked to anyone all day, like I should probably talk to them and hang out with them because they've been alone, they want to be with people. Whereas in my brain, I'm like, oh god, I need to be alone more. I've been with myself all day. I need to spend more time alone. And so it can be very difficult. And I understand that a lot of times people just don't understand 5s because we don't tell you anything and we're very closed off, and like there's just not a lot to give. Like, I don't know how to help you, really. So it can be really hard. If you know a 5, if you're dating a 5, like whatever, I know. We're difficult. We're hard to deal with. We don't even really know what to do about it. 5s are really cool people. We're really smart. We're really thoughtful. We're really cool, I think. Ending the video, finding a way to close it all up. If you're looking for advice on 5s, first of all, I would say show interest in whatever they're doing. You know, a lot of times I feel like 5s spend so much time thinking about their own worlds and their own things, and they kind of leave clues. I leave clues all the time. Like, if you look on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever, you'll know exactly what I'm doing. But a lot of times people don't ask about it ever, and they never get specific. My greatest pet peeve is when people will ask me things and they'll be like, so how you doing? How's life? And it's like, can you be more specific? I don't know. It's fine. I'm good. Like, go into detail a little bit. Like, I need specific questions. If you're going to talk to me, if you want to get deep, like, I will get deep with you. We can talk all day, believe me. But if you are only going to stand there and talk about yourself and not ask me like very specific deep questions, it doesn't even have to be about like, how's that chapter of your book going? Like, I know you said it was really deep, although that would be great. But like something like, I saw in the news that this thing happened. Like, what are your thoughts on it? I'd be like, here we go. Like, I got you. Or tell me more about it. I don't know anything, you know? I think a lot of times people who aren't 5s don't see the world as specifically as we do. And so it's hard to relate to us because, like, I don't know, you don't think to ask those specific questions. But, like, if you try and small talk us, we don't want that. I want deep, specific conversation. So, like, if you ask me something very specific, I will be vulnerable. I will give that part of myself to you. You just have to ask. And so that is, like, I think the biggest thing. Like, show interest in the things that they're doing. Ask them specific questions. And, like, talk to us. Like, talk to me. If for some reason you think I'm mad at you, if you think you, like, I'm not communicating well, there's something on your mind that you're like, oh, does Jenna hate me? Like, she's been so mean to me and she hasn't talked to me all day and, like, whatever. Like, please talk to me about it. Like, I promise you it is not on my mind. It is me just, like, living my life and not even thinking about you and being selfish. I think a lot of times people assume because 5s are, like, not talking to you or they're closed off or they're spending a lot of time alone that it's because they're mad at you. And 9 times out of 10, it's not that. Like, it's not us thinking about you at all. It's us preserving ourselves and, like, our own self-care and our own lives and projects and whatever. And it doesn't even cross our minds most of the time to think about you being worried that, like, you're mad at us or we're mad at you or, like, whatever it is. So, like, communicate. Ask us specific questions. Like, if you think we're mad at you, like, ask us about it because I don't think I am, probably. It's not something that I think most 5s notice until you point it out and you're like, hey, this thing has been happening. Did you notice that? And you'll be like, wait, what? You got that from that experience? Excuse me, I'm so sorry. And like asking questions. If you want to know something from us, don't wait for us to like tell you, because it's not going to happen. Like, ask us. If you want to know if I'm interested in you, ask me. I will tell you right away. Like, you got to ask. That's all. We're waiting for the opportunity to spill our guts out to you, and we just don't, because we don't think you want to know and we don't want to be seen as incompetent. I don't know if that helped you. I don't know if you understand 5s now. I don't know if you are a 5 and you're listening and you're like, wow, Jenna, same. I would love to hear if you're a 5. Please talk to me in the comments. That'd be great. If you have thoughts, comments, questions, anything like that, I don't really know if I can help you, but I like talking about being a 5 because I'm a 5 and I like 5s. I don't know if that was helpful. I really don't think it was, but it's fine. Go check out the Enneagram. It's really great. I know a couple people on BookTube have made Enneagram videos. I know Miss Emma reads a lot. I think that's her username. She has done a video on being a 1. I know a couple other people have talked about it. So you can go find more on the Enneagram online. But yeah, that's just a little bit about being a 5. Thank you guys so much for watching. You're awesome. I'll talk to you in my next video.